Heyo, it's Mayo. Lately, I've been getting a whole lot of questions asking about food-related things, and so I decided to do some videos talking about that and answering those frequently asked questions. People keep asking me, do you have cheat days, and how do you deal with cravings? Also, there's questions like, what are in your cheat days? How often are your cheat days? And I wanted to address those questions and answer them in one place. The simple answer is no, I don't have cheat days. I have not had cheat days for years, and so there's nothing in my cheat days. And I haven't really had cravings for a long time either. The only things I actually crave now are like really healthy things like arugula and seeds and sweet potatoes. And I crave water, which sounds crazy, but I crave water and I love drinking water. I did used to have a lot of cheat days in my past, so I can definitely understand where people are coming from and that frustration that they have and wondering, how do you deal with this? Because I've been there. I used to have a lot of cheat days. I will own up to that. My food process has been very, very slow. I used to live off of sugary, processed carbs and crap. I used to eat Captain Crunch a couple times a day. I loved all of those like sugary cereals. The more colors, the better. I used to have a gigantic bowl of ice cream every night, and I would cover it in like syrups and candy as well. I used to eat like cookies, and I have always been the type of person that I like to graze and kind of eat all day long. So I was always snacking on crap, honestly. And that's just what I lived off of. When I got sick, that is what my diet was like. And then my doctor gradually got me to shift my diet. I went gluten-free first, and then I went dairy-free. Dairy was really hard for me to give up because I loved my ice cream and my bowls of cereal, and I really loved cheese like more than anything in the world. And let me tell you, there is nothing like cheese. Like, there are a lot of things that you will give up in your diet changes that you will not find a replacement for, and that's tough. So I understand where people are like sad and like, how do you deal with the cravings? There's nothing like real cheese. There isn't. Giving up sugar was a really hard step because there's sugar in freaking everything. So there was a lot of like gluten-free, dairy-free stuff that I had been eating that I had to give up because it had sugar. So that sucked. But over time, the cravings go away, and over time, you kind of just forget what things taste like, so you don't miss it anymore. And that sounds really sad, but it's kind of a comforting thing when you no longer remember what it tastes like, then you don't miss it. You come to really appreciate the smells a lot more of food. Like, I ask to sniff my family's food because it smells really good, but I don't have the urge to eat it because I know how those foods used to make me feel. During that time when I was cheating on foods, I would notice that it would make me feel worse. For example, I was gluten-free, dairy-free, and a couple times a month I would have a caramel apple covered in candy. Not the smartest choices. With this mast cell stuff that happened, I had to cut out a whole lot more foods because I started having anaphylaxis. That wasn't really a choice anymore. When you're having anaphylaxis to foods, you can't really eat it anymore. I didn't have a choice but to really dedicate to this mast cell stuff because I was dying. I was very underweight. I was having anaphylaxis to everything all day long. I was down to only 2 foods that I wasn't reacting to, and I was very aware of the fact that I couldn't lose those 2 foods or I was going to die. So it really made it a very easy choice for me to just solidly dedicate to how can I heal my body and how can I start making the healthiest possible choices for this healing process. Since then, I 100% have not cheated any of this because I was really dedicated. I made a solid decision to make the healthiest possible choices for me, for what my body needed, and I have put a whole lot of my wants to the side. That being foods, that being hobbies or going on outings. If my body can't do it, or if it's not in my comfortable limit of energy or whatever it may be, then I don't do it. In the past, I used to take my limits and I would say, oh, it's just a little bit past my limit. I can do that, and I'll just have to pay for it a little bit afterwards. I had this very 2 steps forward, 1 step back pace for a very long time in my health journey, and looking back, I see that I was really just shooting myself in the foot with that. because the more that you're pushing your limit past your limit, it's damaging your body and it's slowing down this whole healing process a lot. It's very like counterproductive. People ask me, like, if you could go back and change something about your journey, if you could do it different, what would you do? And those are some of the first two things that I always tell people. I wish I would have gotten serious about my diet changes right away, not cheated it, not turned back on it, and just gotten on the absolute healthiest whole foods as possible right away. That alone changed the game for me. My stomach, now that I'm eating really, really healthy, it's the best it's ever been. I've had reflux since I was a baby. I've had reflux my whole life. I've had stomach issues my whole life. This is the first time in my life that I don't have reflux. I'm not having stomach pain or stomach problems. My intestines are regular and feel good all the time. And I've never had that. And that to me is priceless. The second thing that I tell people is I wish I could go back and tell myself, stop doing this 2 steps forward, 1 step back bullcrap. Or this 1 step forward, 1 step back. Or 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. Or whatever it may be. I would stop doing that, pushing past my limit and saying like, you're like making a deal with the devil. You're like, this is something I really, really want to do. And I don't care that it's going to make me feel like crap tomorrow. I'm going to do it anyway. And you're like justifying why it's okay to feel like crap and why it's okay to hurt your body, and it really is just so counterproductive. And I did it for a long time too. I wish I could go back and tell myself, get serious about the food stuff, let it go. You got to eat those foods for a really long time in your life, and you're really lucky that you had the health you did for as long as you did. But you're now at this new chapter of your life, and you need to get serious about what your body needs. Do you want to feel this way forever? Do you want to get worse? Or do you want to get better and give your body the best chances at healing? And I wish I could tell myself, just stay on this track of healing and making the best choices for yourself. And in the long run, if I had done that right away, it would have shortened this whole journey a lot. I have zero doubt about that. Because in the last 2 years, I have done that. I have made a whole lot of sacrifices and a whole lot of really hard decisions. I have missed out on family events and things that I really wanted to go to, but I knew my body was not like strong enough and not healthy enough to do it. I've missed out on a lot of things. I have made sacrifices and gave up hobbies for long periods of time. I stuck to foods even though I lost a lot of like joy towards these foods and stuff. I pushed myself to a different level of healing that I had not been trying to find before, because I was afraid of giving up all these things that gave me joy. I was afraid to give up my happiness, essentially, because all of these things were giving me happiness. And really, that's not true happiness. If you're feeling this place in you that like, I need food to make myself happy, that's not really true happiness. I look at food as a thing of health and healing and restorative. It's nutrients, it's my life force, and I have this total new sense of gratitude towards food and eating. Since I only had 2 foods in my diet for a long time, and since I was so underweight, since I was dying, since I was losing so many foods so quickly, I have this whole new appreciation for just being able to eat at all is amazing for me. And to be able to add more foods into my diet, to be able to add more nutrients, to see it go through my body and I feel good and I feel its nutrients giving me energy and life, and I'm seeing my health get better and better, and my entire body is just healing incredibly with just focusing on eating as healthy as possible and making these healthy choices. It makes all of the sacrifices worth it, and I knew it would. I knew in my gut this is going to be really hard to dedicate to this journey as much as possible, but it's going to be worth it, and I know that for a fact, because there were things that I knew I could do better at, and I identified those things, and I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do these things better, and I'm going to really give myself the absolute best chance of getting better. And I have seen that come back and be so worth it. I am now like 90% better in just 2 years of time of really being solidly dedicated to this healing process, and it's amazing, and I highly recommend it. For anyone watching this who is in a similar situation, if you're struggling with cravings and stuff, I'm not at all trying to shame you or make anyone feel bad. I strongly encourage you to be forgiving to yourself for the days that you push too hard or cheat on something or follow your cravings or whatever it may be. Be forgiving to yourself and really, don't kick yourself too much, because this is a long and hard journey, and you're going to have your ups and downs and your good days and bad days, and you're going to learn your lessons however you need to learn them. But I really advise you to listen to your body at the end of the day and try and learn from as many things as you can, especially the ups and downs. In those like roller coaster ups and downs, you got to kind of look at it and say, how can I lessen the ups and the downs and kind of get it a little bit more eased out? How can I get it to be a little bit more plateaued and even and not quite so drastic? Listen to your body, learn the lessons, continue moving forward. Don't give up your hope. Just keep trying and keep looking for help in different places and looking for inspiration in different places. I promise you, if you give up all of these things, if you're sacrificing your happiness, I promise you, you will find happiness in more places than you had ever imagined. Something happens when you give up these things that you were really attached to, that you thought, this is my identity, this is my happiness, this is my purpose, this is my thing. You can give all of those things up, and I promise you, happiness will still find a way to you, and love will find a way to you, and hope and inspiration and just incredible things will always, always come to you if you let them. And that's just my belief. I have been where you guys have been. I have so much empathy for where you're at, and I really encourage you to just not give up and keep trying. Today had a little bit of tough love, but quite honestly, I needed that when I was in that position, and I kind of need a kick in the ass to get my shit together and move forward the way that I did. I would not have chosen this path on my own, and I definitely would not have made these like food-related decisions without a lot of people strongly advising me towards it. So, if I can be that help to someone and help them find this kind of healing, awesome. If I can inspire you, great. If this doesn't relate to you or doesn't resonate, then that's totally fine. Always listen to your own body and your own needs. Consult with your own doctors. Definitely don't just take my word for it. This is just my own journey and what I've been through. If you guys like this video, give it a like and subscribe to my channel if you want to come back for more. If you have any questions or comments or video topics you would like to see me talk about or write about, leave it in the comments below. You are also welcome to follow me or message me on social media, and all of those are linked below as well as my businesses and my blogs. I try and keep my social medias as up to date as possible, and I'm quite active on all of the things even if I'm not posting, so I'm always around. Feel free to hit me up. Classic Mayo. I really wanted to catch it. Bye!